Okay, so we're doing our presentation on blues because we both really like music, and we decided that because blues is such an integral part of the American culture that everyone should be able to know about it, and here's blues.
Blues is the genre of music as well as the music form that was created in the deep south of the United States in the end of the 19th century. The people that created the blues were Africans brought to the United States by force to become slaves.
The only true influence of the blues was the pain and suffering that the slaves had to endure while serving what they called the white devil, their slave masters. The sadness that was abundant through their music was the key factor of giving blues that special sound that so many people enjoy while listening to the blues.
The songs that the slaves sang while working in the fields have very sad tones to them. The sad tones gave this music the name the Blue Devils, which means melancholy and sadness, hence the blues.
The guitar, bass guitar, and drums were major instruments of the blues. Pianos were used as well, and so were minor wind instruments, such as the harmonica. Later in the century, electric guitars and basses were used as well, more frequently, replacing most of the acoustic instruments, and are still used to this day, although acoustic instruments are still used. This is an example of a 12-bar blues scale, very popular in the blues. Bessie Smith was a blues singer who lived from 1894 to 1937. She was known as the Empress of Blues. She appeared on Broadway and also in a movie called the St. Louis Blues. Three of her songs, Empty Bed Blues, St. Louis Blues, and Downheart Blues, were introduced in the Grammy Hall of Fame.
Big Bill Bronzy, also known as William Lee Conley Bronzy, was a blues musician from Mississippi. He started his musical career playing the fiddle. Later in his life, in the 20s, he went to Chicago and began playing guitar. Over his life, he made most songs, although none did too well.
Over the years, the blues grew and expanded across the nation. What began as a rural, small-time practice changed as the musicians moved to larger cities, such as Chicago. The popularity was also increased as more and more musicians used the electric guitars and basses as opposed to their acoustic counterparts.
John Lee Hooker was an African-American blues singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He was born in Mississippi in 1917. His music was a very unique style of blues that he created himself.
He also appeared in many movies. Jimi Hendrix was a legendary guitar player who lived from 1942 to 1970. His music range was large, but a major part of his music was blues rock. Some of his more famous songs include Purple Haze and Machine Gun. Jimi Hendrix is probably one of the most important guitar players of all time, and in his time, the blues was a major playing style that he.
Robert Johnson was an African-American blues player from Mississippi. He lived from 1911 to 1938, meaning an untimely death from poisoning. His most famous song, Crossroad Blues, was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. He is widely regarded as one of the best guitarists of all time.
Kemba was a very popular blues artist that played during the 1970s and 1980s. His version of the blues was inspired by gospel music, so his music accordingly has a lot of gospel sounds to them. A famous quote of Kemba is, "The blues is my history, my culture."
As history progressed, the blues changed. Electric guitars became dominant and rock and roll was becoming more popular. People were craving a harder and faster sound. Rock and roll has the same traits as the blues, only much faster. The original blues remained, although the popularity diminished over time.
Muddy Waters is a popular blues artist that was considered the father of the Chicago blues. He was a huge influence on the British blues explosion in the 1960s. He shocked the people with his new sound music that was never heard before in Britain. Muddy Waters was ranked 17 in the Rolling Stones list of greatest musicians of all time.
B.B. King, born Riley B. King, was born in Mississippi in 1925. King is known as one of the best-known blues performers in the world. He began playing guitar when he was 12, and he began recording music professionally in 1949 in LA.
Much of today's music has been influenced by the blues. Anything from hip-hop to metal music has blues roots in it. Not only does blues music play a big role in today's music, but the attitude and what it is all about. Jazz, rock and roll, heavy metal, hip-hop, reggae, country, blues, and the pop have all been accused of being the devil's music, supporting violence and negative behavior.
Well, blues has changed in many different ways over the years, everything from the popularity to the instruments used. Originally, blues was a small town thing, but it gained popularity as it moved to the big cities later in the 1900s. The instruments changed as well, moving from acoustic to electric.
The blues will always be a part of our music and culture. It will always be an influence in the music of today and the music of what will come in the future. Our modern music will not be what it is without the influence of the blues. And the generation of blues started to influence many musical generations in our history. We'd like to thank Google Images. Our credits didn't show up. We'd like to thank Google Images for most of our pictures, and Mike Camforth for letting us use this music room for a lot of our shots. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.